The summer sun bled red across the dry sky as Elias Monroe rode the edge of his land. Dust billowed under his horse's hooves, and the distant call of buzzards made him uneasy. His ranch, 30 miles from the nearest frontier town of Bitter Creek, had known more silence and joy for 5 long years. Since the war, since he buried Mary. Elias tugged his hat down against the sun's glare and squinted at the tree-lined near Dead Horse Ridge. That's when he saw it, something white flapping in the wind. He galloped closer, heart thudding. There, hanging from a thick branch of an old juniper tree, was a woman. Her long, black skirt swayed in the wind, and her hands were bound. A white veil fluttered from her shoulders, tangled in the bark. Around her neck was a noose that hadn't done its job right. She was alive, barely, a sign nailed above her red in rough black paint. God won't forgive. Elias leapt down, cutting the rope with his hunting knife. The woman collapsed into his arms like a broken angel. Her skin was pale, her lips cracked from thirst, and blood marked her wrists where the rope had cut in. She wore the torn habit of a nun. He pressed 2 fingers to her neck. Faint, but there. He carried her to his saddle, whispered, "You're safe now, sister," and rode hard for home. Chapter 2, A Parson Chains. She didn't speak for 3 days. Elias nursed her in the old bedroom, his late wife's room, because it was the cleanest. He gave her sips of broth, bathed her wounds with warm cloth, and kept the air cool. She flinched every time he touched her wrists, even gently. The bruises on her ribs and legs told a story she couldn't voice. On the 4th morning, she opened her eyes and whispered hoarsely, "Am I in hell?" "No," Elias said. "You're on my ranch." Her gaze darted around the room. "Who are you?" "Name's Elias Monroe. This here's my place, Double M Ranch. Found you hanging like a scarecrow off Dead Horse Ridge." She trembled. They said, "I was mocked." "Mocked by who?" She stared at her hands. "The preacher and his men said I was no real nun. Called me harlot, devil's bride. Said I'd lied to God and man." He pulled a chair beside her. "You want to tell me your name?" She hesitated. "Sister Magdalene. At least, that's what I was called. Real name's Clara Boone." Elias nodded slowly. "You ain't got to talk more'n you're ready." Her eyes welled. "I didn't do the things they said." "I believe you," Elias said, and meant it. Chapter 3, The Dust of Bitter Creek. As Clara healed, the scars inside her showed just as much as those on her skin. She had once belonged to the Sisters of Mercy in Colorado, but when a traveling preacher named Grady Bell came through, things took a dark turn. "He said he's so evil in me," Clara told Elias one evening on the porch. "He preached fire and fury, and soon the townsfolk followed him like he was Moses. One night, I tried to run. They caught me, said I tempted the holy, called me cursed. Then they took me to that tree." Elias's jaw clenched. "And the law?" "There was no law, not in Bitter Creek." He looked out over his land, barren with drought and silence. "I reckon there's justice somewhere still." Clara grew stronger each day. She fed the chickens, milked the goat, and helped Elias mend fences. She never wore her veil again, choosing instead a simple cotton dress Elias found in Mary's old trunk. They fell into rhythm, 2 broken souls who didn't speak of love, but didn't have to. Chapter 4, The Echoes of Fire. It wasn't long before trouble found them. One morning, a wagon arrived in a storm of dust. A cross hung from the side, painted in white. Grady Bell's men, 3 of them, stepped down with rifles and sneers. "We heard tell a horned nun was seen near here." One said, spitting, "You got strangers, Monroe?" Elias stood on the porch, his Winchester propped beside him. "Don't see how it's your business what I've got," Elias said calmly. The lead man, a wiry fellow with a preacher's collar and dead eyes, stepped forward. "She's a blasphemer. Took holy vows and broke them." She don't deserve salvation. She deserves to live, Elias said, and she ain't going anywhere with you. The men exchanged looks. You threatening us, rancher? Elias lifted the rifle. I'm protecting what's mine. The men backed off, but not before the leader spat in the date. Preacher Bell will come himself. She won't escape God's justice twice. Chapter 5. Forgiveness and Firearms. That night, Clara sat beside Elias under the stars. I don't want to bring danger here, she said softly. Danger's already here, but I'll face it. With you. She turned to him, eyes glistening. Why? He exhaled. Because I know what it is to lose everything. To be blamed for things you didn't do. My wife Mary died in childbirth. Town folks whispered she died cursed. That I brought the war back with me. They stopped trading with me. Drove me out here like a ghost. She touched his hand. You saved me, Elias. I never asked why. Didn't need to, he whispered. Their hands met in silence, and something fragile but strong passed between them. Chapter 6. Blood on the Ridge. Preacher Bell arrived 2 days later. He came with 6 armed men and the kind of confidence only cool men wear. A small cross swayed around his neck, black as night, and his mouth twisted in a sanctimonious smile. You have a woman of sin, Mr. Monroe, he said, standing just outside the gate. Release her and we'll leave in peace. Elias stepped forward with his rifle. Clara stood behind him. You tried to kill her, Elias said. Ain't no preacher I ever heard of does that. She spat on the Lord. She asked for mercy. Bell's eyes gleamed. There's no mercy for holes in God's kingdom. Clara stepped beside Elias. Then I'll build my own kingdom, she said. One with kindness, one with men like him. Bell's face darkened. So be it. The gunfight was swift and brutal. The ranch yard exploded with gunfire. Elias took one to the shoulder, but dropped 2 men before they crossed the fence. Clara, fearless, grabbed his spare revolver and fired from behind the haystack. Bell tried to run. Elias caught him at the tree, the same one they'd hung Clara from. With blood dripping from his arm, Elias looked Bell in the eye. No rope today, Elias growled. But I reckon you'll answer to someone. He fired once. Chapter 7. Redemption. The grave was shallow, the prayers short. Clara placed a rock above Bell's resting place. Not for him, she said. For the woman I used to be. She's gone now. Elias stood beside her, sling around his shoulder. You sure? Clara nodded. She died when they hanged her. But someone else lived. Someone stronger. He looked at her, the wind catching her hair, and something like sunlight broke through the years of loneliness. You ever think of staying? He asked. She turned, eyes searching his. You ever think of asking? I am now. She smiled, tears threatening. Then I'm already home. Chapter 8. Love in the Dust. The ranch slowly returned to life. Word spread through Bitter Creek that Bell had been a false prophet. No one came looking for him. Elias's crops began to grow again. Rain came late that season, a gift from the heavens.